Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It's your guy, Bulan Shay. Up next in this video, we're going to be dealing with the Baltimore Ravens 2023 rookie class first impressions. Do me a quick favor, hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell as we get started, and let's go. So, reading a couple of articles, watched a couple of videos from the first couple of days of rookie minicamp, and so John Harbaugh had some things to say about each of his 2023 rookies. And so first up, we have wide receiver Zay Flowers. And John Harbaugh says that Zay Flowers is as advertised. Everything that you thought you were getting, he has been able to see on the field. John spoke about his ability to catch the ball. John spoke about his smarts, right? And of all the things that John said, and I'll put the quotes up in the left-hand corner for you guys to see, but of all the things that John said about Zay Flowers, his smarts was probably the most important thing that stood out to me, simply because sometimes wide receivers don't always get credited for a level of intelligence. In fact, sometimes a wide receiver get credited for being unintelligent. And so to hear that Zay Flowers as a rookie uh, can do all of the physical things, but to have the football intelligence is super important. And I think that with his intelligence for the game already, when you mix that with Rashad Bateman, who knows of the Ravens culture, who can help Zay ease into that, and then when you mix that with Odell Beckham, who understands the Todd Monken system better than most. Um, when he mixes in with Zay Flowers, he can help him grab the offensive system even more. I think that can go certainly well from uh, a rookie perspective. And so to have those kind of veterans to teach you, one about culture, the other about the system that you're in, uh, I think that it allows us to raise our expectations for rookie Zay Flowers. Let's jump down to the third round pick, and that is Trent Simpson. I spoke about Trent Simpson a couple of different times, and it sounds like he's as advertised as well. John Harbaugh spoke about his speed, um, on the practice field, and another thing that he said that really stood out is his ability to communicate. Said he was a good communicator, and as an interior linebacker, communication is super important. And so, for Trent Simpson, a guy who can move all over the field, he can play some safety, he can play out on the edge, he can blitz the passer, and then certainly he can play at the interior position. His ability to communicate is something that's going to be super important and super valuable. And in fact, that may be one area where he's ahead of Patrick Queen, because I don't think we've heard up until this point, and even now, about Patrick Queen's ability to communicate. And so for a rookie, Trent Simpson, to be a communicator already, that's exciting to hear. And also, another thing to point out is that all of his physical attributes will certainly translate to the NFL, no question. Height, weight, speed, you know what I'm saying? Those are things you can't teach. You can't teach a linebacker to be 6'2". You can't teach him to have 32-inch arms. You can't teach him to run a 4.4 40. So those things you can't teach. But another thing you can't teach is the ability to communicate. So for him to already possess that attribute, man, that's gonna be big for him and his transition to the NFL. When we jump to fourth round pick Tavius Robinson, um, John Harbaugh spoke about a couple of different things: his length, uh, um, but most importantly, the thing that stood out to me was how much John Harbaugh spoke about his energy. I think he mentioned energy 4 or 5 times in this article when speaking about Tavius Robinson, and the word energy translates to motor. And for an outside linebacker, edge rusher, have a great motor is super important. Sometimes that's more important than being athletic. And so to hear that he has a lot of energy or a big motor, and I get it, he's not playing against anybody in pads, but for him to have that kind of energy, show burst, things of that nature, he certainly could rattle some cages when it comes to Odafe and even Bowers when it comes time to compete for field time. So. Um, and we certainly need a guy at the edge rush position with a big motor, because sometimes, in the past we've seen our guys get to the quarterback, but then not finish the play. The quarterback get out of the tackle or get out of the pocket and complete a pass downfield, and so not then third down turns into a first down. So to hear this about Tavius Robinson could certainly create some competition in that OLB room. When we go to Kyu Blu Kelly, excuse me. Um, the one thing that John spoke about specifically that stood out to me was that he was more athletic than they previously believed. And so that means he showed something in person that may not have flashed on tape or in maybe a previous workout or something. And so being athletic for a cornerback is super important to have some fluidity in your hips and fluidity in your ability to cover, to open your hips and run with a receiver, things of that nature. Sounds like he may have an ability to play in the slot, but also outside corner as well. And so to have that young depth is important. And he could be knocking on the door for field time, specifically on the door of Pepe Williams and JAD. So I think that'll create some good competition in that cornerback room, especially for those young guys. And then let's see, Sala, the offensive tackle, who basically is going to slot in at guard. John spoke highly about his ability to move his feet well. And so for a big guy to move his feet is super important. That's a guy who can have some versatility in position, but also a guy who can get out on pulling plays and get out of the way pretty quickly and get to his man, move his man out of the way. So for a guy his size, because he's well over 300 pounds, and I think he's about 6'5", 6'6". So for a guy who can move well like that, um, that certainly can create some competition with Ben Cleveland for that left guard position, but also have some position flexibility to still flex outside at offensive tackle if need be. All right. And then last but not least is Voorhees. Harbaugh basically said that he would probably be rehabbing the majority of his first year, simply because he tore his ACL, and that's a minimum 9-month process. And so, but it'd be nice if he's already in house. He can just sit and learn behind Kevin Zeitler the whole year. Uh, because Kevin Zeitler is a rock solid right guard, smart, intelligent. So if he could sit and learn behind him, he'll come into next year basically as a rookie, but have 1 year of learning under his belt. Um, so Voorhees will be rehabbing his whole first year. At least that's what it looks like. So listen, man, that's my take. Let me know in the comment section what you guys heard. If you guys watched some videos, some things that stood out to you about this rookie class. And thank you guys for, just hanging out with us, man, at the GM. And while we're in this transition process, I'm going to be playing with some different products over the next week or so, trying to find the right fit for what we're trying to do here. So thank you. I appreciate it for just being patient with us. I'm your guy, Boulanger. This is the GM, and I'm out.